Welcome to another episode of the Wolf Talk podcast. This episode's a special episode as we have two guests instead of one here. We've got the boxing brothers, Rio and Paul Gordon, come to join us. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us here.
I know you've been busy in both your different camps.
Yeah. Quite busy at the moment.
How's things going?
Yeah, things are going well. Obviously, I'm back with England now. You get released before the Nationals, and I had to do another assessment. Got back in. I'm going out to Tenerife Monday for a training camp, so I'm looking forward to that.
How long's that for?
Just a week. So I fly out Monday, come back Sunday.
How's your?
Yeah, it's going well. I'm just ticking over at the minute. I'm mandatory for the English now, so I'm just kind of waiting for a date and a time, and meant to be out in September. So I'm just ticking over and staying fit and staying ready for hopefully getting a call up for any sort of bouts.
I've seen you've had a couple of pullouts, haven't you, over the past couple of months?
Yeah. So that Ethan George, that weren't good. He waited till a week before, pulled out, and then said he had a cut eye, and didn't have a cut eye. He boxed a month later against a lad and lost every round of the fight. So I think we know why he pulled out. He got scared.
He's a bit of a dumbo. He made a video calling out every middleweight in England. A few names that we know, local boys as well, top level boys. Including my brother saying he's going to knock him out and do this and do that.
Said he's going to do it in the third round.
And then it come to the fight, and he's bottled it, pulled it out with a fake cut, didn't post anything on social media to like with his face or anything. And finally, the photo got released, and there was no cut to be seen. And then within a month, he was fighting some other kid that had 4 bouts. Paul's had 9 now, and yeah, he got beat by the kid. So it just shows that he obviously weren't ready for the fight.
Was it then clout chasing or?
Pretty much.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know if he believed his own clout, but he did that and lost every round of the fight. I think it was, and stayed at his weight. So he didn't come down to middleweight in the end. He stayed at super middle. So just everything that he was saying he was going to do didn't happen.
Enough about him.
How does that affect you though? Because obviously you go through the tickets
and stuff. I had to give all the tickets back, all the money for the tickets back, and yeah, it was a bit annoying because obviously I lost out on money, and it's hard then when people want to come back selling tickets again. Then how was it going to happen? And then I was meant to box on the 28th of June, and same sort of thing. Person couldn't box at that time, so before I started selling, I just had to nip it in the bud and leave it there. So it's a bit annoying because you get ready for a camp. I went from back-to-back camps and then didn't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, it must be hard having to go through all that, the grueling camps, and then just having it cut from you.
Yeah.
What do you do then? Just stay ticking over, go through a whole new camp?
Basically, yeah, that's what I did. I had a week off and then got back to it.
No, because it impacts his obviously works as well. So it impacts that. So he's got to take time off work, training full time, getting himself mentally as well, physically got misses and that, got his own house, and he's then got to go. All right, that was a waste of time. Back, he's still training. Obviously, got the benefit of training, but you could have been in so many other things. It's just a waste of energy.
Yeah, basically.
Are you supported by your work?
Not. I'm with an agency at the moment, so the job where I'm currently at, I'm a bit touch and go with it. So I'm hoping that they're going to keep me on, and they're good with letting me go to training. So I do like split shifts, so I can get to my boxing in the morning, and then I do evening training somewhere else on the other days. So it does work, but I'm just hoping they keep me on because my work-life balance at the moment is really good.
Yeah. I suppose that's really hard though to get the balance of it.
Since I got my missus, I think I must have had maybe 8 or 9 jobs. Maybe I've had ridiculous amounts where they'll keep me up for 6 months, or I'll stay there 8 months, or do you know what I mean? And then something doesn't quite work out. I'm not working the hours they want, or something happens, and I end up having to leave and find another job.
In a pro gym as well, when you're training in the mornings, Monday to Friday, that's when you're meant to be at work, in it typically.
Yeah.
9 to 5 workers. So for him trying to find someone that acknowledges the fact that he's got to go to training and he's willing to work afterwards, and sometimes even before training, as long as he's got that time. If you knew someone and you got on with them well, then it'd be all right. But when you're meeting these people for the first time and they don't know you don't know them, and they might not care about boxing or a sport in general,
it's hard.
It's hard, yeah. Definitely.
You go in and say, "Oh, I can't work that hour. I can't work that hour."
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah, I've got to the point where I'm looking for either evening work, or I kind of just say, look, I can't do these hours. I need this time free. If you can, I really appreciate it. If not, it's not for me, sort of thing.
This has been really understanding. They've been alright, haven't they?
Yeah. Like I just changed my hours a few weeks ago now, so I'm now at the gym 3 days a week. the thing is, my gym's like it's elite level fighters the whole way through the gym, so you can't really get much better. Like the sparring's top quality. We get lads come down all the time, and you know what I mean. It's a big family there, so
Do you know
I wouldn't want
I don't know.
Peacock Gym.
Martin Bowers, yeah. So,
No,
it's a good gym based in Epping. Do you know
Yeah,
Denzel Bentley?
I don't know.
Don't.
No,
Heard one. Yeah, he sort of
all
top
mine's
level
based
boy.
around this area,
Well,
around
yeah,
Birmingham.
makes sense.
Well, originally the gym was in Cannon Town, and Frank Bruno boxed for Peacocks. So yeah, it's a very famous gym.
Good names over the years. The Boys box for the gym. They've been managed by Martin Bowers. Denzel, you had the other names. Better than me.
No, I don't know the history
There's
like
been a
that,
few
but
good
there's
names.
been
I think
great
that once
man.
you find your gym
Yeah.
and you know that's your gym, you
Well,
can't let
if
it
it
go,
wasn't
can
for
you?
Martin, I would have even I was struggling to get my license because of a number of things. But one of them being I was stuck at a gym in Ipswich, and he was saying he was going to get his manager's license, and he failed it and didn't tell me. So I was there, sort of in between doing stuff at that time, and I waited a year, as well as after COVID. COVID hit before, so that kind of messed up my plans. So I waited like 3 years in total. And I just went because I'd been sparring down there as an amateur. And I just spoke to Martin one day and said, "Look, I just need someone to give me a chance." And he was gracious enough and said, "I've seen you spar, yeah, I'm willing to do it and give me the chance." And
And
I
that's
haven't
what
looked
it's
back.
about, isn't it?
Yeah,
Someone
right,
giving you that chance.
And I trust him implicitly. Do you know what I mean? I know he's got my best interests at heart, and that's really important in the sport because you see like the likes of Mike Tyson and with
With
Don
Don King,
King, like
yeah.
what can happen? Do you know what I mean? People just using you for money. I'm picking fights early, and then do you know what I mean? You lose, and then discarding. You know, like you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure you've got a good team around you.
I think with the Bowers as well, that they're in a good position where they're not trying to take whatever you've got, pull fight, and they're not necessarily too bothered about trying to take what he's got and split it between them. They're quite humble and going, "Look, we're going to build you up, and when you're earning money, that's when we'll look at it like that." But at the moment, they're good, ain't they?
Yeah. No, I don't like. I don't pay. Like I give the coaches a little something, but as my manager, he doesn't want anything until I
That's
make
good.
a certain amount of money.
A lot of coaches and managers.
Yeah, you
Doesn't matter
find
what
it
you
all the
make.
time, don't
They
you?
want their cut straight away.
It's a hard journey to start
Yeah.
the boxing journey, money wise. It is. So if you can get someone good like that, that's brilliant. You got to
Yeah.
stick with them.
Support network around you as well. Especially being like a local fighter in Harwich, it's good to even just go into a local shop, people chat to you, people know you. I've got sponsors in my town that support me heavily. The reason that I've been able to get to the level I'm at right now, it's massive to have the right people around you and good support.
How important, we ask this to the boxers, how important are the sponsors to you?
You wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, it makes it very, very difficult without them.
I think there was a statistic like 92% of boxers have to work, professional boxers have to work a job or rely on sponsorship to maintain a career. They're not earning enough money to actually be able to live off of their fighting or their boxing.
Yeah.
So sponsorship's massive. I know so many fighters that do well, but they can't sell tickets and they haven't got sponsors, and they end up becoming journeymen or just packing it in and getting a day job because it's not something that's accessible. So many business owners are probably optimistic to the fact that because you don't know them or you're not local and you're just a guy that wants chasing a dream to a point, they're unsure whether it's the best place to put their money. But like I said, a small town like myself got some sponsors together, and he's got some sponsors as well. It's been massive. It's been life changing. I mean, I worked full time before this. I'm a qualified plumber, and it was great. I earned good money, but it was like I couldn't. The balance between work and boxing didn't work, and boxing always lost, unfortunately. So being able to get the sponsorship together, and now I work part time and train full time, has been massive.
It is a real hard journey. I say at the start, but it's hard all the way through.
All the way through. Yeah.
If you're not on that right path, I've spoke to world champions, and they're still working a full-time job.
You see a lot of people that like that. Josh Padley went to Riyadh. He's back on site doing an electrician after his first one. And you think, do you know what I mean?
It's crazy, isn't it?
The success rate is very low for like actually making a living out of it.
It is. I do think it's a little bit easier for. I guess it depends, but with amateur and pro, a pro boxer, they've got a date, they've got a camp, they've got their stable, and they can take potentially time off work around that, and they earn money from boxing. Whereas amateurs, you've got to be consistently ready, 24/7, on weight, fit, and you could be boxing at a drop of a hat. So being able to work a job and box is quite hard as an amateur.
You say that, but sometimes the biggest opportunities come as a pro from when you're on weight, you're ready, you're fit, and someone says, I need someone to fight this guy in 2 weeks, and that's when you get your big break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's kind of what
I'm just saying
waiting.
there's two sides to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard boxing full time work as an amateur, and now I'm able to train full time, and I'm not working as much. It's made a hell of a difference in performance.
That's great. I seen you got to the finals of your competition last time, but you had a cut, didn't you?
So last year I made the national final, went out on a 3-2. Then this year I went back into the intention of taking the belt, and I boxed in the quarterfinals against a kid from London. I was winning the fight, but in the second round we had a clash of heads, and the doctor stopped it. And I was told that if I get it glued now, I should be alright for the next day. I won the fight on unanimous anyway, so it wasn't the opponent was the problem. It was just an accident cut. And then the next day I was felled by the doctor. He said that the cut was too deep. He said it would have reopened straight away as soon as I got hit by a shot, and it would have got waved off. So he said he wasn't going to allow me to box. And it's just a really, really annoying moment. You feel like you've got to a national quarterfinal, ready to box a national semi, and it's just taken away from you in a second. And it's not even, I wasn't good enough. The boy was better than me. There was nothing, none of that. It was just, a cut.
Although it's frustrating, do you think that was the right decision in the end?
Yeah. I'm not going to blame the doctors. They're just doing their job and making sure everyone's safe at the end of the day.
And to get a loss over a cut, like the first punch could have opened it, and then to get a loss for that, it would be silly. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Someone could ride clout saying that they beat me, but they didn't really. It was a cut. And irrespective of that, if I would have gotten there and my cut was made worse, or split open wide, it could have needed stitches, or could have messed up how I look on my eyes.
Something that could have affected you every fight going forward.
Exactly. So
if you open up easy, you're going to have every fight stopped.
100%. So yeah, I spoke to my coach and we made the decision to take the chin. And like I said, I went back with England and done my assessment, and I got back in. So they're obviously seeing something they like. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, because we go with everyone we interview, go back to the start.
Yeah.
Childhood. How was your childhood? How was growing up? Has boxing always been in your life?
No,
it wasn't. So we grew up originally from London, Ealing, West London, and life was good. We went to church on a Sunday, 2-parent household, and things were well. We had a little incident back in 2009, just issues that happened. We moved up to Essex, and life was a little bit hard when we first moved to Harwich. We had to deal with a lot of racism. I was in primary school at the time, but you dealt with the worst.
I got it quite badly, just because I'm black. There was 4 black kids in my school, I think, or
predominantly white area.
And just not. It was more like just picking, wanting to like gang up and hit me and do stuff, and like as the years went on, that stopped, and like people become friendly, but you never forget, sort of thing.
No,
it was more like people you didn't expect to see a black kid. So people didn't know any better. They've been taught how their parents had taught them. Do you know what I mean? It's like a systematic thing.
Like I remember moving on.
100%.
Yeah, I remember moving onto the street, and we were playing with some of the kids out there, and one of the guys kicked the football in my head. And he goes, "You've lowered the price of my house." And you think that was what people were saying, how they were acting. That's a grown man doing that. Do you know what I mean? We were kids.
Feces picked by a letterbox.
Mm-hmm. Our mum's tyres flat, and she was driving to London every week, and the insides of her tyres all the time. She was getting her tyres changed and stuff.
Yeah, they used to, write nigger in his books. They used to set his hair on fire, deodorant cans, and this was just. It was quite a sudden change from London, living in such an ethnic, diverse area where you wouldn't even think about.
Never had any problems before like that. Do you know what I mean?
Did it make you think about, or your family think about moving back?
When we were there, and at the time we didn't have anywhere else to go, so we just had to, knuckle down and
get through it.
Just get on with it, and that's it's definitely something that you'll always remember, but it's something you can just move past and be a better person because of something. I'm just glad it didn't happen to someone else, Or now Harwich is more of a diverse place because we've lived there so long. Obviously, people are moving away from London constantly, and they're moving up to towns like Harwich, Clacton, local areas.
Yeah.
And I walk through town now, and there's loads of diversity, loads more than when we were here. So it's it was rough, but like it is what it is.
It was definitely a culture shock. That's for sure. It was a culture shock.
Yeah. But yeah, went to school. I loved sports. I did every sport possible. I was the only boy on the netball team in primary school.
Really?
And they wouldn't let me play the games because it's a girls' sport. But I just love playing. I just love sports. I loved it. I did rugby, football, anything I could do. And one of my mates in school, he done boxing. He said, "I'll come down." So I used to go down to the boxing class, kids class on a Wednesday. And once I'd been there a little while, they asked me to go to the real boxing classes. And I never forget, I went and done this first class. I didn't know anyone. I knew that class I didn't know anyone there. And the training was grueling. I remember walking home that day, like I could barely put one leg in front of the other. And after a while, my coach, big old, like scary man to me, I'm probably 13, "Do you want a box?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess, I don't know." And I had a skills bout back in May 2014 and absolutely loved it. And it's been going ever since then, you know.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you walk out the gym, like you said, and you can't walk, but you feel buzzing at the same
Yeah,
time.
you just can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
You get that dopamine rush, and you think that was great. Because remember watching his first bout, and I used to smoke, and I was 16 at that point, so I smoked.
18,
18, and go out, do whatever, and see that, and I was like, oh, come down, get fit. So I remember me and my mate come down for a session. I was in some beat up Adidas trainers, like not running trainers, and I remember it absolutely killed the two of us. We were
like a box fit class for the adults on a Monday, and I remember I was sat with his mate's girlfriend on this wall, just watching, laughing, and they're just struggling. The stamina weren't there, the fitness weren't there, and it was almost just quite amusing to watch your older brother struggle the way he did, and his mate was an absolute bitch. You know, they were dying, but he stuck at it. Stopped smoking.
I really enjoyed it and started off. I got absolutely annihilated in my first fight. So we went down to Slough, and he had this big black brother. And honestly, afterwards, everyone was going, "You can take a punch. You can take a punch." Like, oh, cheers! That's not what you want to hear at all. But then I won my next two, and it kind of went like that for a bit. And yeah, I remember the next summer after my first year, I just stayed in the gym the whole summer when the club closes down and then does one session a week.
A little break, during the season.
So borrowing the kids, and we didn't drive, didn't have a bike or anything. We used to walk up there, which is 45 minutes, half an hour to the gym.
What we used to do is one of us in the morning, we'd run to my coach's house, which is about 45 minutes away, get the kids, run back. And then we'd go up the gym and train. And then in the evening, the other one would run the keys back and then run back home. So we'd get 2 sessions in, but we'd also get to train. And we used to do that all the time, just borrowing the keys, train every day, like through the summer.
And just put the graft in. And I think it was my second or third. I think it was the second season or third. And I think I had 11 fights, won 9 or something like that. I made a massive improvement.
Well, we've done the devs as well. We both done the devs together. I think it was my second season. It probably been your second or third season.
It was my second, yeah.
Because I had a skills bout, and then I didn't box for a year because my coach, because I was a 66 kilo 13-year-old, 14-year-old. So I was quite heavy. It was hard to get me a fight. So he ended up having 2 fights before I even had he had his third, and I had my first on the same show. So I think it might have been, like I said, your third season, my second. We did the national devs together. And I was a junior, he was a senior. We were both the same weight. He was 69, I was 70. We both got all the way to the final together. And you lost some of the...
I was unlucky. I come up against a really, really good lad.
Good boy. And I ended up winning. And it was like, boxing through the nationals with your big brother, that's...
And some of the moments we had, because I remember, I think it was in the semis, we both bought too much food. We used to do these salad,
pasta pot things.
Yeah, and we thought, oh, you know what? I'm normally still hungry, so we bought 2. Bought 2. He'd eaten one, and he'd eaten the other one, and we both eaten them both. And then he started warming up.
Like when it's fight day, your stomach goes. It's like my body weren't digesting the food. Because of the nerves.
Yeah.
And he started doing his peds. He goes, "Oh, Martin, my stomach's hurting," and I'm sat there like, "Oh, I hope it don't happen to me," because I'm feeling fine. So he's warmed up and stomach hurt the whole fight. He's won the fight, come out, I started warming up and I'm like, "Martin, my stomach's hurting." He's like,
"How are both of you doing this?" Like, he was losing his mind.
Because we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
Are you competitive against each other?
Oh, massively. Our spars, you wouldn't think we were brothers. You think we don't like each other.
When we were both amateurs, we used to have proper tear-ups. But not like, we didn't try and hurt each other, we just wanted to be better than each other. It was always that competitive rivalry.
Is that going on from young?
Nah,
not really, because we weren't really.
He's 4 years older than me, So like we used to watch WWE and whatnot as kids and like do wrestling with each other, like fight each
Yeah.
other, but he would always batter me. Like I wouldn't stand a chance.
Well, it
you
used
know?
to be here. We've got another brother. It used to be them two versus me all the time.
and he'd still win. You know? I was only good for like drop kicks and stuff like that. I would run up to him trying to kick him in that. But yeah, when we got into boxing, that's when the competitive side sort of really got into it, and that really helped us because you get a lot of boys that are trying to motivate themselves, train themselves, but they're not pushing themselves.
That's the thing is, I know if like we talk most days. If I call him up and he said, "Oh, I've trained," I might be from work. I'm like, "Well, I've got to train today." Do you know what I mean? There's no way I'm not going to train now because
now at one point obviously we lived together, and he'd go for a run. He didn't tell me. He's like, "Yeah, I've trained now. I'm training again later." So now I've got to go out for a run, and I've got to try and beat his time. We use Strava and that. We like, got on the run app and said, "Oh, I beat you. I was faster on that time." And there's always that competitive side, even in the gym, like doing the push-ups, trying to beat him to 10 or trying to do more than him. Or do you know what I mean? But it's a healthy competitive
It's a good
side.
thing. You've got to have competitiveness.
Yes.
You've got to have rivals in the gym.
It's like all this stuff now with kids at school, and there's no winners.
It's terrible. Doesn't make any sense.
How are you ever meant to excel in things? You can't.
What's the point? Because there's no reward from winning, losing. You might as well stay at the back, and you still get participate.
Yeah. Especially boys, they want to win. You can't take that away from us because otherwise, there's no point us doing it. And we don't set. As boxers, no one likes losing. You know, it's about unlucky. It's not unlucky. You're not a runners up. There's no second place. It's just first, and you're a loser. That's it. When you're in school, you got a sports day, race, anything. You want to win it. Yeah, I got second place, but everyone wants first.
Yeah.
And taking that away from people or kids, it's going to set them up for not for failure, but it's definitely going to affect them in a negative way.
Well, you don't
everything in life is competitive. You go for a job, it's competitive.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
You're not setting them up good for life going forward because it's a competitive world.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not a kind world either. So you've got to be ready for that. Like things don't always go your way, and if you're used to just turning up and participating and not winning or losing, you're not ready for anything.
Did you say you had another brother? Did he not get into boxing?
No, he didn't fancy it. Didn't like putting the gloves on. Didn't like being told what to do too much.
No.
Younger or older?
Middle.
In between.
The middle one.
Yeah. He's a year older than me in school, 16 months. I think 18 months actually. So he's 26.
So in the boxing mode, you've gone down two like opposite paths, really, haven't you? You staying on the amateur route, and you going on what?
Yeah, well,
how come that all come about?
Because I'm 29 now, and for boxing, 35 might be the max, and I needed to get it going after COVID. Those 2 years I missed, and then after, like I say, missing that year with Suffolk Punch, I didn't really. It was kind of now or never sort of thing.
Yeah, it's hard to turn pro when you're late in the day because you've got to build a following, you've got to build a base, and you've got to learn to box like a pro. There's definitely a transfer side from amateur style to pro style. Obviously, I'm 24 at the minute. When COVID hit, I'd never trained as much as I should have done. I never really got back. It took me a while to get back into it, so I stopped. I remember I was getting ready for the Nationals. I think it was February 19 or 2020? Might have been 20, something like that. Anyway, and I remember the Nationals got cancelled. I remember taking photos, thinking I'm shredded, I'm on weight, I feel great. Nationals done, it's over. COVID stopped it.
No, I was meant to box in the I won't say Midlands, Eastern Counties final, and then it happened literally the day before. I was meant to go box at Smokey's gym, and that happened. And I thought I'm in the best shape of my life.
I didn't go off the rails, but I just didn't really get back into boxing. I just I went on, carried on with work, started working full time, and I was just enjoying life. I'd do a bit of training, but I weren't competing. And I just it was so easy, just working, being a plumber, doing whatever. And I thought, I want to box like this. I was always thinking about it, always watching him doing well. And obviously, even when he was always training, calling me saying, I've done this, I've done that. And that rivalry again, I'm thinking he should be doing this. I should be doing it with him, you know? And then back in 2023, I started boxing another competitive year. I got back into it, got the weight off that I'd gained, obviously, from overtime. And then the year after that, I said, right, I'm gonna go full for this. And I got some sponsors together. I quit my job, had some savings to get me through the nationals, and I made a national final. 4 months of being full time, I went from being a second-rate boxer, I guess you could say, to being in a national final, losing on a 3-2 to a GB boy. So So I come a long way, and that got me recognised with England, and I got my England, you know, opportunity boxing in the Tri Nations. I won gold out there. Then they put me on the team, and it's been going great since then. And recently, I got obviously offered a GB assessment. I spoke to you about this before.
Yeah.
And I got an email yesterday saying they've asked me back for another assessment. So things are just going well, and I just don't think, if you're in the training, you're going in a good direction. Why jump off? I think get the experience, get the knowledge. I'm training with world class coaches, learning loads. Like I said, I'm going out to Tenerife, getting experience in other countries, sparring other
That's the
players.
thing is
internationally.
amateurs. It's just a learning experience. Once you turn pro, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
every loss
awesome,
every loss is a massive loss, and it's hard to bounce back after that.
Yeah, and I think when you close the book on the amateurs, you close the book. You see that some boys go back, but realistically, when you turn pro, you should be 100% turn pro.
Yeah.
I think there's more for me in the amateurs. So I'm just
If I was younger, I would have stayed in the amateurs and got more experience. I only had 43. He's had 63 now.
Yeah,
so,
63
and do you know what I mean? That'll make.
No, that's what I was going to ask you for any
yeah.
youngsters watching. Which is the best route? Which would you say?
Subjective. So subjective.
But I would
pros and cons?
definitely say stay in the amateurs as long as possible, get as much experience and following behind you, because it makes it a lot easier when turning pro. If you can get signed,
social media is massive.
Yeah, if you can get signed, or you know what I mean, you're a big ticket seller or anything like that, there's people that follow you. That makes the battle a lot. I'm not a big ticket seller. I keep to myself. I go to work, I train, and I sell a good amount of tickets that, do you know what I mean, pays me a little bit and does whatever. But I'm not a big ticket seller. So now when I go to try and get a deal or whatever, that, do you know what I mean, it's difficult. And on top of that, because of COVID happening and everything, the little following I had and the little accolades I had got as an amateur kind of were in the past, because they were years before.
Yeah,
So
I remember I spoke to a pro boxer, or he was amateur. I boxed him in the amateurs back when I was 19 or 18. And I see him in a pro gym I think a couple of years after COVID. I said, "Oh, how you getting on? How's the pros?" And he looked at me and he said, "Listen, mate, don't turn pro too early." He said, "No, I was told I was promised these things and all these opportunities, and I turned pro and everyone went cold on me, and I missed out on a lot. And I feel like I'm a good boy that's not getting the opportunity that he deserves." So he said, "Until you've got that, don't turn pro." And I think for myself, I lead by example. I could turn pro. I know I'm in a good position to turn pro, and I'll probably do all right, get a deal. But getting an amateur pedigree and experience, you see it from the Fabio Wardley fight. You see that amateur pedigree makes a massive difference. I know Fabio won the fight. You will look at the quality of the rounds and who was winning the fight. He was the one with the amateur pedigree, one with the experience in the ring. And I think it makes a massive difference when you're fighting at top level. People like Usyk, people like Lemachenko, people like even Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. They've got that amateur pedigree that makes a massive difference, especially later on in the rounds. I know some people they've turned pro. Look at the Smith brothers. You look at him versus Boazzi, and that level makes a difference. They're both great amateurs, so it's hard to call. I think if you're around the right people, obviously you can turn pro. That's fine, but I think you should always try and get a good amateur pedigree before you go anywhere.
I think that's the important thing, isn't it? It's who you're guided by.
Yeah,
make sure it is the right people guiding you. I think people jump pro too early because it's hard to make the money. It's hard to make the money as a pro. It's hard to make the money as an amateur, and then you get that promise from people. Oh, you can make a bit of money here in the pros. And I think people do turn pro too early. Don't get that.
Yeah, you'd always get the people that do it too early, and some people do it too late. But it's just finding that right point. You've got to find the point where everything sort of lines together nicely.
As long as it's ready, it's right for you, sort of thing. Because listening to other people can get you in trouble. Do you know what I mean? You can do it, like you said. We just said you can do it too early, do it too late. But as long as you're in the right position, you feel like this is your time. You've got enough experience, and everything is saying it's time to go. Then it's time to go.
Yeah, like I said, it is subjective. You've got to weigh up your options. You've got to look at the pros and cons of each side, and not look at it vaguely. You've got to look at it in depth and see where you can go and what you can do. And some boys they turn pro, and I don't know if they plan to go all the way or they just plan to get to English level, Southern area level, or any Commonwealth. I'm not sure, but you've got to have a plan. You've got to have an idea of what you want to do and where you want to go. You can't wing it because you'll get found out.
Of course you will, yeah. What is your plan? What's your plan written down?
Secret. I'll tell you off the cameras, but I can't tell you that right now.
What is the goal there, the end goal for you?
Well, I think everyone that boxes at a high level wants to turn pro eventually. So I will eventually obviously turn pro. But when that point comes, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna sit here and give you something that I don't know 100% now. I've got to find out what's happening with GB. I'm with England. I'm getting great experience, and the position that I'm in right now, I'm not set on. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm just seeing what doors open. I've got a plan in my head. Like I said, I'm not gonna say it right now, but I'm just gonna wait and see what opportunities arise, come up, and take the best options for me.
Would you like to get that GB experience?
Yeah, 100%. Love to get it, even if it's for even just training with the boys. Being up there with them, the level's just so high, and the margin of error is so low.
And the way they train is so strict, and they train a certain amount of times a day. Everything's like their nutrition, what they do is all planned, and do you know what I mean? It's different. It's a different level.
Yeah, you're talking about people that are paid to produce the best boxers around. They don't win more money if you win a fight. So it's not based on just getting a win. So they don't chuck you in the deep end. It's about getting you international experience, getting you boxing the best boys, and getting you to become the best version of yourself boxing in and out of the ring. So yeah, it's definitely something that a lot of amateur boys want to get, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in getting. But like I said, I've got to prove myself, and I want to do my next assessment and show them that I'm worth taking on and I'm someone to look at.
What about you? What is your end goal? What's your plan?
He was saying you shouldn't wing it. I'm just to be honest with you, I'm just staying focused, and I'm just waiting for a big opportunity. I want to be able to showcase my skills and show the hard work that I'm putting in. But to get as far as I can, I mean, that's all. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to say I want to get to English or get to this or get to that, because I might go a lot further and I might not. But I just want to work hard and get as far as possible.
His goal at the moment is to box for titles. He wants to box for a title. He wants to find out what, I don't know, sorry to speak for you, but he wants to see where the level is, how deep the water is. He wants to find out what's going on. Like I said, he's been made mandatory for the English. You don't get that by luck. You get that by hard work.
Well, I've had 2 English eliminators. I've had the Southern area, defended it. So yeah, I'm looking to make the step up in quality against better opponents, and get the English, defend it, and then move on to either the British, Commonwealth, or something like that. That's, do you know what I mean? But there's a plan. There's a plan, but yeah, as for how far do I want to get, as far as I can go. Do you know what I mean?
As far as they let you as well. When like you said before, you're not unfortunately not a massive name. And you get the big names, they get the more opportunities, and it's hard. Sometimes the door's there, but they don't let you in. There's a lock on the door. You got to try and jimmy it open.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get in, sometimes you can't. And the door's shut, and you're forced to deal with these things due to your age, your situation, where you are in life. So look, they didn't let me. I could have gone this far, but they didn't let me. Or I tried this. Oh, I got in here. Let's do this. Do you know what I mean? I understand. You're not winging it. It's just trying to find the opportunities that suit you best and go for them. He was meant to box for a certain title that wasn't the English before, but then that fell through. Now he's been mandatory for the English. Go for the English then. At the end of the day, he wants titles, and that's what he's going to get. The top boy, and he's got the right mindset, and he's got good people around him. So why not? Let's have it. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully September's the day that he gets a.
Do you know who your opponent is?
The English at the minute is held by Linus. He's 2-time English champion. He's a good name. He's a good fighter. He's been a little bit unlucky with, like he was just saying, having doors shut on him and not getting the opportunities that he should have had. So it's a very tough fight, but I am game for it and I'm up for it. And hopefully before November, because that's when I think the board said that a date's got to be set by, I will be fighting for the English. And yeah, I'll be ready. Like, I'm fit, I'm ready now.
At this point, you'll fight anyone. It doesn't matter who it is, as long as obviously you've got to know who it is, but so we can plan for it. But at this point, you just want to fight for a title. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. You want to fight.
So you both just said the same thing as well, like, and I'll try and teach this to the youngsters. It's not only about how good you are, is it, in boxing?
No.
That will only take you so far. You've got to be a crowd drawer, and you've got to be entertaining.
Yeah,
because it's always money involved in it. These big promoters, they want you to draw the big crowd in for the big money.
At the end of the day, and that's the way you're going to earn money. So it's not just about them, it's about you as well. If you want to earn money, you want to support your family, you've got to be able to sell tickets. How do you sell tickets? You've got to be a big name. You've got to be a good fighter. You've got to meet the right people. So it's not just about pleasing them. It's about being a proud person, being a confident person, and showing that in the ring. You've got to be good. Like you said, you get some players that aren't as good as they should be, but they can sell tickets, they can talk. There's some boys that are really good, but they can't sell tickets and they don't
Oh,
go
so
anywhere.
it's that balance, isn't it?
You got to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So,
You find it, don't you? Like you said, if you haven't got that balance, you get the door shut on you,
Mm.
and then you miss out on these opportunities. It's hard.
100%.
It's really hard. You got any advice for the youth that are out there that are just coming into boxing?
Ask questions, 100%. Ask questions to people that you look up to, your role models, your inspirations, boys in the gym, whether they're pro, amateur, top level. Ask as many questions as you can, and always listen to your coach. Put yourself in a situation where you're being trained by someone, and you're second guessing them. That can affect you in a fight. Obviously, some people are in the wrong gyms, but most of the time, if you're in a gym, you've got a good coach, especially England boxing. Always listen to them, and if you don't believe what they said, ask them why, and they'll explain things to you. Do you know what I mean? That goes back to my first point. Always ask questions, and you've got to train people. So many people think they can just sort of get through it when you're young. I did it as well. I just try and train a bit here, train a bit there. You know, my coach, you've been training? Yep, been training. And then you get in the ring and you go, man, I was blowing. You know,
No, you need that gas tank, don't you?
You need to train, and for us, it was better because we could train together. You know, I could go, oh, Paul, we're going for a run, we're doing this, or we're going to the gym, we're training together. It's hard when you're on your own. So trying to find a good network of people you can train with, that's when you're really going to get the best out of yourself, I think, anyway. That's
if you've got people around you that end into training.
Having people you trust and then having people to train with is a massive thing. Right? You've got to trust the process and trust the people, your squad. Because otherwise, like you said, if you start backchatting or it just doesn't work, and you start thinking you can do it one way, and you probably don't know better than your coach. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's it,
the coach is there to protect you and to make sure that you're learning at the end of the day.
I read something the other day about you getting into boxing because of a fight or an altercation on a night out. What's that to do with?
Basically, one night we were out drinking in a pub or something. I can't really remember now. And there was a massive pub brawl, and we were fine. Like, that was all fine. Finished, everyone left, and once we all got outside, the cold air hit us, and we all it just hit us really hard. We were walking home, and then some guy, for some reason, started on us. Wanted some weed or something, and we were like, "Listen, mate, we haven't got that." And don't know what he did. We shouted up, and some guy come out of a house from down the road with some poles, and they just started laying into us. And we were so drunk. At that point, I don't know the difference. It was probably about 10, 15 minutes, but the difference, we were just at, and couldn't defend ourselves properly. Do you know what I mean? My mate ended up having like half a purple face afterwards.
Slap up, and they were talking about getting a dog and stuff, and we had to basically run away.
It weren't good, and he just said, don't ever want to be in that situation again. And that was kind of coincided when Rio had already started boxing. I went down there.
It's a bit of both, to be honest, because first of all, when you're in the gym and you're training and you're following sport, you're not putting yourself in them situations. Like, you look at how much we rarely drink now. You know, we like to train. Well, I'd rather be in the gym than in a bar or in a pub. But back then, he was obviously, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Boxing takes you away from that, and also being able to defend yourself in a situation where he's not done anything wrong. He's been, asked questions that he's not been able to sort out. He doesn't, not a weed in his back pocket. He's just having a good night. And then guys will come out with weapons and stuff, and even being able to stop one of them and get away with your friends, get away safe, is important. I'd never say obviously not to use boxing for malicious, violent purposes, but at the end of the day, if you don't know how to protect yourself, you're putting yourself in jeopardy.
That's the thing. I think boxing should be taught in schools or something.
I've said this for ages.
There's lots of people that can't defend themselves, and especially for like young women nowadays as well. You see the amount of rapes, the amount of stuff that's actually happening, the amount of people getting date raped, drugged, or do you know what I mean? It's dangerous for women as well. And I think if that was taught at a young age, everyone's got a base, they can look after themselves. Do you know what I mean?
I've said this whether it be boxing, some form of martial art, some form of combat anyway, I think it should be part of the curriculum. Because I think not only learning to defend yourself, but like you said, you're taking yourself away from the streets, you're giving yourself something to do, you're learning a bit of discipline.
Discipline's a massive one for boxing. I don't know one boxer that's done well for himself that doesn't say discipline's a massive factor. It changes the way you look at life, and it's so transferable to everyday life, what you learn in the gym. I think it's just, you talk about people that don't really know much about boxing, and they say, I wouldn't like to get punched. It's not about getting punched, it's not about punching. There's a whole art to it, boxing.
Well, the thing is without discipline, you can be motivated, but motivation only gets you so far. It's the discipline that takes you further and keeps you going and keeps you getting back in the gym and doing the same thing day in and day out, that repetition.
It's the same whether you're boxing, whether you're at uni, whether you're at school. That discipline is what gets you to the other side in a good way. You know, whether you're boxing a fight and you can't bother to train, but discipline makes you go and do it. Whether you've got revise for a test, you can't be bothered, but you make sure you just do it. Whether you wanted to do 2 hours, but you just did an hour, you did something. It's better than nothing, and that makes a massive difference in the long run over the course of our life. You know?
And that's it. We've all been at that point where we think, oh, I can't be asked for the gym tonight, and it's that discipline that gets you there.
Yeah.
And then when you're there, your motivation kicks in, and then you're ready to go. Then it's that discipline of actually getting yourself
and
there.
knowing when you've got a fight coming up, like the day before the fight or day of the fight, and you're going, oh, if I'd have just done that run, if I'd have just gone to the gym that day, you think, oh, I should have done more. But when you know you've done everything, win, lose, you know you did what you were supposed to do. You can't, do you know what I mean? You can't be disappointing yourself for that. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you're still disappointed if you lost, but like, do you know what I mean? You know you put the work in.
They're all at 1%. You know, I should have gone for that run, or I shouldn't have eaten that bad food because then I had to miss a dinner, which then could affect my performance. You start those little things really hone in on you on fight day, and I think less of them makes you have less to think about, less to worry about, and it definitely changes your performance.
Yeah, I think you got to go in with that clear head, don't you? You've got enough to think about
before the fight. That's it.
Now where we are in our level, we don't really get those things. Everything's done properly, you know. Weights made properly, training's done efficiently and planned out, and the S&C's done, your cardio's done, your boxing training's done. But when I was younger, you know, you'd be sitting there just eating a Asda meal deal, and you're thinking, I wonder how much they've been running.
You know what? No, it's after it's in the second round. I remember sitting on the stool a couple of times, being like, "Why am I doing this? I am so not fit enough for this. I am so not." And I've got to give a big round. It's one apiece. I've got to give a big round now, otherwise I've lost this fight. And you know, I ain't got the minerals right now, but you got to slug it out after that.
Pull it out of the bag. When you do win, it makes it so much more. You got, I'm going to train every time.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm better now.
Sometimes you need that loss as well to humble you. I've had it before where I've lost a fight. I remember my first loss. I won my first 5 fights, and I was 66 kilo. I went up to 70. My coach was telling me, "You're too fat. You're too short. You're not built for this weight." And I think I was about 15 at the time. Nah, I'm the man. I won 5 fights. I thought I was like God. I thought I was undefeatable, you know. And I got in the ring against his tall southpaw, and he absolutely battered me. I couldn't get near him. I had a point deducted for slapping. I couldn't get near him. I hadn't really trained, and I was in the ring so cocky and arrogant. I got humbled, and then you sort of go, "Wow, what happened there?" I had a bad season, and then the season after that, I really dedicated myself, and that's when I won the junior title.
I think you got to mention. I think, although it is a loss, if you can take a lesson from it, you can still gain from a loss.
Yeah, 100%. It's how what you deal with it afterwards, how you take, like, you know, what you do after that.
You see a lot of people that get a loss or two and they pack it in, or they crumble, they don't like it. Yeah, but it's the ones that stick with it and they go, I learn from that, I'm going to work harder, do this, make these changes, and do you know what I mean? And every time you just get progressively better, do more, learn a bit.
I think it goes through life, doesn't it, as well as boxing? You never stop learning, do you?
No.
You're always a student. When you think you know it all, that's when
you may as well give it in then.
Yeah.
You're never going to know it all. Even at your end fight, you're going to still learn something from it.
100%.
How's the diet side of things? Is that strict? Is it?
Yeah, it's part of your life now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I woke up this morning, had a little porridge pot, had a little snack of yogurt and banana with a little bit of honey, and like, you know, you could go to the shops and get whatever you want and eat bad food or whatever, but it's just going to affect your performance, and then you're not going to be able to eat as much of it. And I like eating healthy.
This comes from the guy that's always in a petrol station shop getting some pastry, getting something.
What are you on about?
So I call you up every once in a while, and he's like, "Yeah, I forgot my lunch today, so I had to go and get this, and this." I mean, to be fair, I was bad today. No, I was bad. I was bad today. I've missed breakfast. I normally have Greek yogurt, granola, or porridge or whatever, but I was rushing and I left and I had to get stuff from the petrol station, and it wasn't the best food. I had a sausage roll and a shitty sandwich, and do you know what I mean? I've got crisps in the car. So, but as he is right, as day to day, normally we do live pretty strict. Like
you said something. I can argue that point. When I was working, when I was working back in 22, 23, I forget my lunch or I forget to make meal preps because you're working 40, 50 hour weeks, you're busy. I just go and buy a meal though. And then you eat that and you think, But this is what I mean. This makes a difference. Now that I'm full time, I've got the time and energy and like ability to do it. I'm meal prepping. I'm eating good food. I'm eating good breakfast.
Meal
lunch, and
prepping is a
dinners.
massive. If you're not meal prepping, it makes it
So
very difficult.
my diet is routine, especially like when I train for the nationals, train 2-3 times a day. You've got to eat the right foods because it's going to catch up with you. The fatigue you put on your body, the strain you put on your body. You've got to fuel it right. And back in 2024, I had a nutritionist for the nationals, and I tell you the stuff I was told to eat by this person.
You know, it's crazy. I've never seen him eat so much food before in my life.
Believe it. It was all good food, but the way it was worked, I actually ended up losing weight, and I couldn't believe it. So I still sort of work off that plan when I'm doing my meal prep and I'm eating my snacks and having my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But it's not like I've got a week good now because I'm boxing. It's like that's what I do every day now. I'm 24.
Yeah, I think once you can turn it to a lifestyle choice rather than a plan, it becomes easier then.
Yeah, it's so simple now. And like people, like you look at KFC, you look at McDonald's. Yeah, it's nice, but salmon, poached eggs, bit of sourdough, bit of avocado. That's nicer in my head, and that's going to be better for me.
No, it is. And then you have these cheat meals where you go and you'll grab yourself a Mackey's or a KFC, and you always feel bad after anyway.
100%. I know when the doctor failed me, right, for the nationals, I went straight outside. I got an iced coffee and a big blueberry muffin. I said, I'm having this, man. This is a joke. And I probably had some bad food when I got home, but you need that. You had that little reset, and then you go right and back on it.
Yeah, I think that's what puts people off the word diet. They think you're never going to be able to eat anything nice again. You're not going to be. You can have your treat.
Healthy food is nice. It doesn't have. You're not eating just vegetables the whole time.
No,
do you know what I mean?
that's what people think. Oh, I'm going to have one carrot and one pea on my plate, and it's not
like
like
that.
I
eat predominantly fish and chicken now. Like meat wise, I love fish or chicken, but then I have different types of veg or. You know what I mean? And then try not to eat rice so much anymore. Try to eat like grains because they're actually healthy, but it tastes lovely, and you can do it in loads of different ways. Do you know what I mean? And
there's so many ways that you can eat healthy food and perform at a high level. So that obviously for us, we've got to make weight. So we've got to eat foods that are constrained by how much nutrients are in it, how much fats are in it, how much. Do you know what I mean? Whereas everyday people, they step on a pair of scales and go, "I want to lose a stone." But really, you could put weight on and still look in better shape because you're training, you're eating the right foods, you're putting the right things into your body. And I think unfortunately a lot of people nowadays don't know how to cook good food, don't know much about nutrition. And they're eating, microwave meals, ready meals, pizzas.
Become the fast food world, don't we?
And it's definitely impacting younger generations.
And the problem is as well is that to buy healthy food is becoming more expensive. Well, buying this fast food or the quick easy stuff is cheap and cheerful, but do you know what I mean? It's not good for you.
Yes, I think that's another thing that puts people off when they see the price of it.
You don't realise when you do eat healthy, it doesn't cost as much as you think. But at first glance, it does. When you go from eating, £2 pizza or chicken strips at £3 or this that, when you go to buying chicken, it looks like a lot more money. But when you cook it, make it up, and do it, it's not. It stretches you so much further. You get so much more for your money. Like a bag of rice is £2. That would feed you for 5, 6, 7, 8 meals if you work it out right. Get some chicken, beans, bit of seasoning, bit of tomatoes. Off. That's a meal there. That's 3 days meal prep.
It's all about that meal prepping, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I do mine on a Sunday, so I sit there, order, get my shopping and that, and then do my meal prep for the full week. I do all my lunches, and then my missus makes the dinners during the week. I make them on the weekend, but you know what I mean? It's easy like that. It works really well.
After here, you got anything planned? You busy?
Today?
Yeah.
We'll be probably getting a little Nando's on the way on. I thought, come out to Birmingham, see what it's like. It's raining.
It rained, it was hot where we were and then rained when we got here.
Yeah. So we'll go back to sunny Harwich, sunny Essex anyway. Probably just chill out. I mean, like I said, I've got a pack because I'm going to Tenerife on Monday, so I'll be doing that. When I'm to the airport tomorrow. I'll just probably get ready for that, to be honest. Take the dog for a walk, maybe. Just have an easy day. I've got to train this morning, and I'll probably just keep it easy for the rest of the day.
Got strength to do, and I didn't do it yesterday, so I go in and got my thumb checked, so I'll be going and doing strength when I get back.
Brilliant. And for everyone that's watching this, how can they get hold of you, behind you, support you, get tickets for your fights?
Instagram, Rio.Azael. Facebook, Rio Gordon.
And Muffin Top 191 on Instagram, and just Paul the Muffin Top on Facebook.
Get behind these lads and all boxers and try and make things a bit easier for them on the journey, because it is a real hard journey. I just want to thank you for taking your time out. I know you're really busy for coming to see us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
No, thank you very much.